Welcome to another episode of That's What I Said with Cedric Sanders. Giving you 100% authentic, real, raw, unapologetic truth with no filters. This broadcast starts now.
What's good? I'm a little tardy. I apologize. There was some computer issues, and I needed to fix them, and it wasn't working with me. I'll just put it like that. It wasn't working with me at all. So I'm live, and I had to do some deep thought just recently. Not just with the podcast, but just in general. In general, you have to have those sometimes those deep-seated conversations with yourself. And I realized that sometimes, you're not as perfect as you think you are. And it's not because you're not trying to be, it's not about being perfect. You're not, some things you're not okay with, but you can communicate that, you know what I'm saying? And other things that you're not okay with, you don't necessarily have to communicate them because it's not within your control to even worry about it. So there has been some distance when it came to the podcast, and a lot of it, 90% of it, is all me. I get into my head a lot, and I overthink, and I start doing stuff that I was doing when I was first diagnosed with anxiety and PTSD. And I can say for the latter part of 6 months, that's all I've been doing. Overthinking. think, overthink. And then I made the topic of tonight's podcast kind of like, I guess you can say, it's not the caterpillar, going into cocoon stage and turning into a butterfly. No, it's having awareness when you need assistance with your own mental health sometimes, or not even just assistance, paying attention to the signs that are signs, and doing the corrective, doing all the corrective measures you need to do for yourself, and not sitting here waiting for someone to basically ask you so you can offload on them. And it was like, calm down. I mean, I get you're going through something, but I didn't come here for that per se. And sometimes some people have to have a space to even just be able to listen to some of the stuff that you got going on, because you don't know what they got going on in their life. So for me, for the latter part of 6-7 months, it's been me trying to figure out what's going on. Not necessarily like with me, but what's going on where I'm feeling like some things are not necessarily better left unsaid, but support is only as big as you're gonna get it based off of the content that you put out, or who you are around, who your circle is. And even within that circle, who's within that circle, and the whole trickle down theory. So the reason why I'm saying all this is this: a new start, and she still got my back. That's the topic. Does it reflect me? Yes. Does it reflect other people? I'm sure, because you can move the words around and say, a new start and he's got my back. But a new start and she's got my back. And sometimes when you decide to do something brand new, regardless of what you got to go through, you want support. You got ideas, you got creative, dialogue with someone, and you're trying to, I guess, come up with something. And you're brainstorming. And you can brainstorm with, your circle of friends, or if it's one close person you got, or whatever. It's always good to bounce ideas off of other people. And they don't necessarily have to be in like minds. They could just have an open, canvas that you can paint on, and they can see it too. You absolutely need that when you decide to do a podcast, or you decide to be a content creator, or you decide to open a business, or whatever. You need support. You need someone you can lean on, because sometimes you have ideas, but really, are they ideas that a lot of other people are going to pay attention to, or have some type of, I don't know, appreciation for it? You know what I'm saying? So a few weeks ago, I made the decision that I wanted to rebrand my podcast. Actually, it was more than a few weeks ago. It was probably about 4 months ago. But about 6 weeks ago, I got into this period of trying to actually rebrand and do it myself, because the one thing that I was tired of, to be honest with you, was people giving you empty promises. I've been dealing with empty promises probably my whole life. Went through therapy for it, as a matter of fact. Not to get into details or anything else like that, because that comes later. I haven't discuss announcements or anything, so bear with me, please. So I think sometimes in life you experience certain things and then you realize that you could be pulling on someone that is not comfortable, not necessarily be pulled on by you, but just not comfortable with doing something you might think that is going to be a great idea, but for them, not so much. And going through this whole rebranding thing, I had to go back to really think about, do I really want to keep doing this? Of course I do. Okay. I do. But am I forcing my wife to do it? I had to make a real decision. I was trying to force quality time into something that she really didn't like doing. She loves being a fan and watching it. She liked being in the background and critiquing and you know, being in the chat and everything else. And that was effective and I loved it. But at the same time, I wanted that interaction and conversation, because we was always having conversations about, you know, different stuff. And I was like, oh, that'd be a good podcast topic, and you know, and blah blah blah. And the conversation lasted for hours. But I didn't think about that at the time of bringing her on. I thought it'd be a good idea to kind of get her out of her comfort zone. And I thought it was working, but at the same time, you sometimes when you're in a relationship or in a marriage, you know, some people will do stuff not just to make you happy. They will do stuff because they're comfortable doing it now, because they've been doing it. You ain't never asked them the question if they like doing something, because sometimes people do shit just because they want to make you happy, irregardless if it's actually something that makes them happy. So everybody's different. And it's not, you know, anything wrong or you know, discrediting in that. It's just when people are like that, you have to realize that you can't do what you want to do sometimes, because you might have to compromise. You may not necessarily get this person to be where you would like them to be at, but maybe they can take some other type of role in whatever it is that you're trying to get this person to, you know, do, or what you would like them to do, whatever, you know. Don't make it like it's their obligation. So that's what I said is really going to be what I said. That's what I said. Having Connie as my co-host for God knows how long it's been. It's been a long time. Having her as my co-host was great because it was live and I had someone to talk to, and it wasn't just me. Not that I didn't have a problem with it just me, but it's not like she's not here. She's, you know, listening to me right now as I'm doing this video. This actual video itself is not actually going to be a podcast. This is just more of an announcement video that I'm putting out, and then I'm going to change it into a podcast because there's certain elements of what I'm going to talk about are going to be the new dynamic of That's What I Said. This whole background will not be here. It'll be completely different. The aesthetics and look of what you see visually right now will be completely different. The way and direction I'm taking, That's What I Said, was the direction I was going to take it years ago. And so many different things happened. Great things, don't get me wrong. And it took That's What I Said in a direction that was kind of irreversible due to the direction that I was trying to go, but it wasn't necessarily the direction that I needed to really go. I was trying. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't even really focused on completing or focused on actually accomplishing anything. I was trying some stuff. And sometimes trying some stuff is good and sometimes it's bad. And to be honest with you, what I was trying to do was absolutely, completely bad. Because nothing I was doing was ever going to come out to be a positive thing on my side. Because none of the people that was, kind of supporting me in the beginning and then going forward, whenever they have something or whatever, you help them if you can and still support them and everything else like that. And it's like, you got onesie twosie people that's still there, but pretty much everybody's gone. And it's not necessarily about consistency. It's just more like friendships. You find out who your true friends are based on just life in general, or just, who they are as a person. And I had to take that into account because I think I was judging my relationship with people not based on communication or anything else like that. I was truly basing it on the fact that, excuse my language, do you really fuck with me? There's people that I have on my friends list or on, and I say that loosely, but it's a social media term, of course. But I really had to think about it, even on social media. Do I have people that are on my social media that are on my Facebook or Instagram? Instagram, not so much because they just follow you, but on Facebook as friends. Are they that close to you to where they're really not that close to you, but they're a friend on your Facebook? Why are they there? Why do they have that access? And it's like, I had to realize I had some toxic shit going on around me that I didn't even realize was really toxic. And it was like, if these people are really friends to you or have some type of relationship with you and you're not communicating, but you once did communicate, and all of a sudden now it's just like, if I'm not doing what you're doing, or I'm not doing what we used to do together, I guess we can't talk no more. That's bullshit. So we just had situational friendships where, you was my friend during this situation, but now that we're not doing this shit no more, we just can't be friends. Who the fuck does that? It's like you make friends at the park that you go to, but then you go visit some cousins or whatever, and you meet a whole group of new friends because they just vibe with you and you do all kinds of shit. Now that's your friend. You just want to go to that park. Fuck that first part. I want to go to this park over here. I don't want to go to the other park no more. I want to go to this park. Why? It's like you would much rather be not to be the popular person. You would just rather pick your friends and go to the park where people vibe with you and like you, and basically just say, fuck them. No regard to how they feel about you. Just because these people vibe with you just currently, you would much rather be with them and just forget about these people over here. And then turn around and actually try to have a relationship with these people. And guess what? The new ones that you pick don't really like you. Don't that sound familiar? Not saying you can't meet good people on social media, but I met some weird ass people. I'll put it like that. And I had to really take a conscious look, because this is my therapy. I've been telling people this for the last few years and people don't understand it, but this is my therapy. This is the only conversation that I really get to have outside of my wife. And I talk to my wife a lot. I talk to my mom a lot. I talk to my brother. Talk to my kids. talk to friends, family, have those type of relationships. You talk to people. But sometimes certain conversations need to be shared. And I learned this in the military, believe it or not. They always tell you to train your relief. Well, that was something that was moniker when I was in the military. Train your relief. You want to train the person that's going to be doing your job or could potentially be doing your job by the time you leave here. And I was thinking about that even after retirement. I'm like, even with my experiences in the military and just things I did or whatever like that, I think some of those things should be shared as life lessons or whatever. And even how people maneuver and how to deal with their own mental health and how to do certain things and how to, whatever. It's like those things should be talked about. It shouldn't be something that you got to fight to get somebody just to listen to you talk about, not necessarily talk about your pain or what you're going through. It's really just to hear you, because when you have PTSD and anxiety, sometimes people just don't hear you or respect you. And it's not so much about just talking. It's just, most people that deal with mental illness keep things suppressed so much because of how society has judged them, and it's gotten so much worse because of social media. Like so much worse. It's like people can't just express how they're feeling without being judged or without somebody feeling like they got to condemn them because of how they're feeling. It's sad. So yeah, enough about that. Anyway, so going forward with the podcast, I wanted to bring an element of discussion as well as vulnerability and conversation. Connie is not completely gone. She will be on different panel discussions that I will have on the podcast. She will be on those, especially veterans-based ones, because I will have some veterans-based conversations. And I will have other conversations. Yes, I will be talking about crypto. I had a picture up earlier on my screen with like cryptocurrency. I'm definitely going to be talking about cryptocurrency and other different financial things that I personally know about or deal with and have some success with, that I'll try to share some truths behind that, especially when it comes to like financial literacy and these things that people should know. And then there's a thing that I've always been wanting to do, and I just never had the opportunity to do it, but now I have the opportunity to do it, so I'm actually going to try to put it together. But I want to have big panel discussions at least once or twice a month that are like town hall conversations. And once I get the group of people together, we can figure out like what's the best discussion that's been going on for the last couple of weeks and talk about it and give some clarity, or maybe even, I guess you can say like some old school direction as far as like how, we would do it, because most of the people that I'm friends with or I consider family or whatever, or are either in their 40s, close to being 40, or already 40 and past that. Do I have people that are under that? Of course I do. It's just when I do these panels, there's certain conversations that I would like to have with certain individuals, and I know that those certain individuals will be able to have a better or a great conversation, just because, not necessarily just their age, but I know experience. Certain people's experiences is different than just their age. There's people that are 30 that's had way deeper and more, I think, aggressive experiences than I may have had growing up or even just in life. And there's some that are older than me that's had way more, things going on in their life. So it's everybody's life is different. So it's not necessarily just your age. It's going to be your experience. So we're going to be bringing those conversations. And like I said, I want to have a lot of vet conversations, but I also want to have just regular conversations as well. So I don't want to just tie my podcast just to strictly be veterans. However, I'm a veteran. I'm going to show my appreciation to my veterans. And I will have lots of conversations with veterans. But like I said, again, I will have conversations about regular stuff. That's just, I'm human. I'm not foreign. Just because I'm, retired veteran doesn't mean that, I'm just not human. I might get treated differently, good, bad, and different, but I'm still human. Besides all that, this was more of just an informational video. This was nothing more than that. This was just to put some information out there. I will be doing a podcast after the 4th of July weekend. It's probably not going to be that next week. It's probably going to be the week following because I got a few little other small things I got to set up before I get going with this podcast. But I just wanted to put people on the up and up for those that follow me, regardless if you're watching it live or you're going to watch it later. I appreciate the time and energy that y'all do take to listen to my podcast, and just even when you take the time away just to put a comment in the comments or send me a message afterwards. I appreciate it. Going forward, I'm only doing this live on Facebook for information purposes. When I start doing my podcast again in about 2 weeks, I will not do my lives on Facebook. It's just counterproductive, and the algorithm has completely shut down everything that I was doing and used to do, and now I gotta start from ground, basically ground zero. So, yeah, basically 6 years of work gone. All my videos, all my content, everything gone. So I gotta start all over. And it took a lot of time and effort to really get to this point right now where I'm on this video talking about it. And I didn't say it in the beginning because I didn't want it to kind of drown out the rest of the conversation about what I was doing with the podcast. But the catalyst to all of this was everything that I've done, even before my podcast, all my work, deleted. No longer on Facebook. Now, if you're been following me on YouTube, I got about 2 to 3 years of content on there, but it's not all complete because it was fed through Facebook. So now, when I say I got to rebrand, I got to rebuild. So that's what I've been doing. Peace and love to y'all, man. All everybody that pays attention to the podcast, listen to me, follow me, friend, family or not, friend, family or fan, doesn't matter. Love y'all. Y'all be safe out there and enjoy the rest of your week. Stay cool. Try to, because I know it's summertime and it's hot, because it's been hot as I don't know what out here. So we out of here. I'm out of here. Peace.
Thanks for listening to another episode of That's What I Said with Cedric Sanders. Make sure to like and subscribe to the show on your favorite podcast platform so you never miss an episode.